Hey Libras, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be doing your April general reading here. So, wow, let's get right into your meditation. I saw the image of an ice skater twirling around on this patch of ice, and I heard the song This Magic Moment. I think it's by the Platters. This Magic Moment, that song. And then I saw like the spinning around in a circle, on the ice, created like this hole in the ice in a circular form. And I saw the Libra Collective as the ice skater kind of fall through, but not in a bad way, fall through and land on this really modern dance floor. And it turned into from this magic moment, which is like a very 1950s tune, turned into like it got real funky, like the breakdown or whatever have you. And then I saw you guys there, and it felt like this split screen. Because I saw this, the first thing actually that I saw before the ice skater was this pane of glass. It was separating me from a viewer perspective from what I was seeing. And then you fell through, and then I saw you move into this wide open meadow, and there was this bear there, this huge grizzly bear that was a bit fierce. And this bear said to you, right, like mentally or otherwise, like, commit and move forward. Bears are definitely equated with spring for a really good reason. They have the hibernation aspect. We are, in the spring season now, in the northern hemisphere at least. There is an aspect here of sometimes when the bear energy comes up, especially if it's a reversal of an energy, it's when we're clinging to, when we're not quite ready to get up, moving and going. But I'm hearing commit and move forward. This feels like a time for forward movement, forward action, allowing yourself to step out of your comfort zone and live in the questions of the unknown for a bit before you actually have clarity about what comes next or about what your next phase in your life looks like. Okay? All right. Let's see what your animal energy is, Libra, for April. Oh, soke. The Crow. Can I tell you a story and a secret? You guys are the last reading that I'm doing for the April vids, and no one else has gotten the Crow. Hi. I love an air energy for an air sign. And this equates to the High Priestess, right? Which is about clicking in with your intuition from a place of curiosity and openness and acceptance, right? It's your intuition really coming to the forefront there. But it's interesting too with the crow, because crow medicine is about messages, signs, symbols, communication, and truth. Now, what I really love about crow energy in particular is crows, medicinally speaking and energetically, they speak out whenever there is an injustice or an imbalance that's detected. If something's unfair, if something needs to be said, right? If someone's holding something back, it's like, speak it with your chest, call, right? Crows are very up in your face. So I love that this is coming forward after seeing the bear in your meditation, which was a bit like move forward and commit and move forward without hesitation, right? So it's interesting. So again, whenever the crow comes up, I do equate this also to the number of 5, which is about change, right? So again, whenever crow comes up, you're going to be seeing a lot of signs, symbols, repeating numbers, synchronicities, messages, and communication. Okay? All right, Libra, work it out. Okay. What's going on for the month of April? Oh, you don't say. Reflection. Well, this just feels really apt. So here we have a lovely moonlit scene on a lake with a boat. This is very much about, it's really interesting how this is coming across. Remember I said this is equated to the High Priestess? And see the spheres here? An aspect of the High Priestess is about we click into our intuition in order to access information and insights that are not otherwise visible until we go and delve within our subconscious mind, right? Or intuition, right? The veiledness, the darkness, the secrecy of it. And then we have, not secrecy in a bad way though, and then we have the moon, which is also a symbol of intuition, right? And then we have the reflective surface here as well, and the boat representing the journey. Remember how we were talking about how the bear said, move ahead into the unknown and commit to it and move and go now? And then we're seeing this. You're being asked to really embrace the unknown right now. there's going to be a lot of signs and symbols that are supporting you in this endeavor as well. This is also about, you know, possibly for you, reflecting where you want to go. Sometimes we can be in an unknown energy, and it can be rather helpful in terms of our own compass, right? To know exactly where we would like to go, if nothing else, right? Lovely. You might want to also just take the time to look within yourself and ask yourself some questions along the lines of, you know, what are my motivations for XYZ? What am I getting out of ABC, right? And really, you know, approaching your given circumstances with that curious eye or that kind of Sherlock Holmes kind of vibe, okay? It feels very beneficial. Caught in the runes. Okay. So, interesting. See how this is 19 and this is 16 revert, like if you flipped it, this inverted aspects of each other. Then we had the reflection on the water and how it's interesting. Anyway, caught in the runes. So this equates to a tower-like energy, right? Which I always say the tower is the great rearranger. And we experience, in my experience, we experience tower moments when we have made more choices from fear than from love and faith and trust. Right? So when the scales, speaking of scales and Libra as well, you guys being repped by justice in the scales, when that scale, when it's a little heavier on the, you know, fear-based choices, that's when we have the great rearranger in the form of those tower moments come in and redirect our course. And I want you to think about this. You know, how many times have you had a tower moment? What do I mean by that? A tower moment when there has been a big change, a disruption, an unforeseen event that maybe isn't so positive on the, you know, on the surface, but you can look back later and go, oh yeah, I'm kind of glad that happened. I can see the greater purpose in it now. How many times have you had a close call or something really unwelcome happen and you go, whoa, my perspective is a clean slate. I will never take XYZ for granted again. If you have a health scare, I'm going to start taking better care of myself. I'm not saying that's what this is. It's just an example. If, you know, you're almost in an accident, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to drive more safely and not be on my phone ever again when I drive, right? It's that opportunity with that tower moment or almost tower moment that comes in and shakes it up and goes, here's an opportunity to course correct. And that's what Caught in the Runes is saying here. But there's also an aspect here too. Caught in the Runes, this is staying in a place of dilapidation, right? And what do we see with the bear who's really out of its cave and saying, go forward now, into light, move forward and commit, right? There's an aspect here of clinging on to something to do with the past or a routine or formula or pattern that you have been involved in, whether this is a relationship, interpersonal thoughts that you have with and for yourself, or the familiar, right? And you are being asked to embrace the known and step away from the familiar, okay? In some way, shape, or form, not in every way, right? Incremental steps, right? But Caught in the Runes, you could easily slip out of this if you wanted, right? By just stepping out forward and go, hey, I don't know what's coming next, but I see where I am has reached an expiration date, and so I'm going to move it along. All right. Woo! This is going on, Libras. Oh, yes, this has come up a lot. Light of the world. This is really beautiful, and I think it relates really beautifully into the crow, aka the high priestess energy. So this is your guides, your, you know, the universe, your angels, your higher self, knocking at your door to try to get your attention, don't you know? See these points of light in the darkness as well, and then we have the lantern in the light. Right, and then the fire illumination within, and this guy is so focused on his gorgeous tabby cat here that he doesn't even hear the knocking. I feel like this is a comment on the signs and symbols, synchronicities, meaningful coincidences is another way to say synchronicities, right? Equated to the crow here, right? You're being asked to be open and aware, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, allow yourself to be in the present moment and not too easily distracted so you have access to this divine support that's available to you. Okay? Yeah. Very good. Listen, transition feels very much like the name of the game, okay? But it feels like the worst thing that you could do in this context is cling to outdated modes of being, operating, or thinking, okay? This is about the new and forward movement. So here we have the Seven of Cups to clarify reflection, especially with the dragonfly energy here. Dragonflies are about illusion or confusion or, you know, a mystery of some sort, right? We have the Seven of Cups, which can be a bit of overwhelm, too many options, too many cooks in the kitchen, an overabundance of optionality to the point of overwhelm, right? And then we have reflection here as well. I'm hearing to really be honest and clear with yourself, even if it takes diving your inner depths on a, you know, night all by yourself somewhere, right? Looking out on the water, right? And going, what is in my energy? What is in my given circumstances? What within me, or what within my partner's circumstances, or what within my something about my life as it is right now can go? Because some things have reached their expiration date and they want to be removed to make way for the new. Again, this can be within you and or around you, but you're being asked to really be open to seeing what those things are. Especially, you see this one cup in the back that's empty? You have an empty cup going on. Can you recycle it? Can you recycle? Remember when I saw the ice skater and was making a circle in the glass and fell through? Yeah, something wants to be recycled and released. Caught in the runes. Yeah. So to clarify, caught in the runes is the Eight of Swords. Very similar energy here, right? So Eight of Swords, my darling and wonderful fellow air signs. This is analysis paralysis. Air signs are quite good at this energy. We're professionals. And, you know, this is about that mental prison, right, that you create and thus only you can escape from, right? I love that this is shown with a mole here, because moles have adapted to their dark environment, and so they do not rely on their eyes to see. They rely on what? Their senses, which I feel like is another, you know, hearkening back to this crow, this high priestess energy here as well. Are you willing to see what is no longer working? Question mark. Are you willing to see what is no longer working? I'm not trying to be foreboding. I mean, for some of you guys, this could be a little more, you know, extreme, but for some of y'all, it's really about just something as simple as just making more time for you so that you have time and space to be present for inspiration around some soul work that you're meant to do, that you're being lined up and tapped up for, right? Or be open or have time and space or room for a new opportunity or whatever have you. Are you willing to see and look at and be honest with yourself about what is no longer working and can be recycled? There is something outdated about your given circumstance in some way, shape, or form. This could even be a thought loop that you engage in. Negative thinking or worst case scenario thinking, I'm hearing for some of you. Okay, let it go. We're going into a new cycle. And the bear is being very insistent around that. And I'm hearing bears being a very specific symbol for you guys as well. That could be linked to the sign and the synchronicities. Okay? Yep. Four of Cups, light of the world. So this is makes sense. So Four of Cups, traditionally speaking, can denote a certain dissatisfaction, wishing things were different. It's not all bad, but it could be better type deal. You know, this light of the world here as well, I feel like this is commenting on how available are you to recognize what you wish for different and thus make changes accordingly, right? Sorry guys, had to pause out there. I'm back. So again, this speaks of, you know, really taking a look at, not just floating on by, right? Where there is room for improvement or alteration, what needs to be recycled, reused, repurposed. What else? You know, there's also, I'm feeling for some of you guys, there is a disconnect from your intuition that I'm picking up on. Now, let me be very clear. Disconnecting from your intuition can often happen when we're rushing around, when we don't make time for ourselves, when we're feeling a lot of stress and worry and you know, haven't meditated in a long time, haven't taken a quiet walk in a long time, haven't just gone and sat by the water for, you know what I mean? When there's a lot of stimuli going on and not enough quiet and silence. We can really be popped out of our intuition, get disconnected from it, and it really can clog up that, for example, our third eye chakra. And whenever that's clogged up and we are experiencing a disconnect from our intuition, how that manifests is we start, you know, worst case scenario thinking, kind of like I said, we start stressing out about things that, you know, it feels more like a choice and not necessarily, you know, real cause to stress out about. We start seeing how the cup is more half empty more than half full. Speaking of the 4 cups and all these cups here, right? So if you've been engaging in that kind of thinking, or you've been kind of seeing the downside of things more than the upside, I do feel like part of the reason is because you're either clinging to forms that are outdated and you're being asked to move forward. Let something go, an aspect of yourself or around you, so you can move into a new energy and be open to what comes next, that it's aligned with your highest and best good. But you are being asked to, yes, move forward, but I'm also hearing, funnily enough, to slow down, stop, and listen at the same time, right? There's a change that wants to happen. It does feel like there's some confusion or some, dissatisfaction or some, analysis paralysis, like I said, going on here. But the clarity can be found within and through you, right? I'm hearing a special note. So we are creators, right? This is what separates us from the animal kingdom. We are creators. So if ever you are feeling blue, or you're feeling, frustrated, or you're feeling dissatisfied, or feeling anything other than quite content, a wonderful thing to do is to create something. It doesn't have to be anything magnificent. This can be coloring in a coloring book. I say this all the time, I feel like. Or writing a letter to someone, whatever, that's even passed away, even, it doesn't matter. Journaling, but creating something. Even making little origami swans, I don't know. When you create something, it reminds you from an energetic level that you are a creative being, right? And it does something. It resets your energy in such a beautiful way. I cannot tell you. I don't even completely understand like the magic behind that, or why that is so effective in that way, but trust and believe that is what it is. It is such a positive way of shifting your vibration. Okay? Beautiful. Let's get an oracle. Oh my God. I love this so much. I feel like this is for you too. Okay. This is my favorite oracle in this deck. I love Frida Kahlo. Wow, there's a lot going on. Okay, so we have Frida Kahlo, companionship. I really, really love this. When I think about animal companionship, I think about unconditional love, right? And a partnership, companionship, relationship where you can just show up exactly as you are and you're perfect the way that you are. It doesn't matter if you're in a bad mood, you're not looking your best, you're distracted by other things. Animals have this wonderful ability to connect us into the given moment because animals live in the moment. I feel like there's an aspect here of extending to yourself the same compassion that you would extend to an animal that you love. Okay? Also, when I think about Frida Kahlo, God, I love Frida Kahlo. When I think about Frida Kahlo, her being the artist and visionary that she was a creator, a great creator. And she had a lot of troubles in her life, a lot of darkness, a lot of sadness, a lot of loss. And by her own admittance, how she got through a lot of that was by creating. Right? So I feel like there's another, aspect of that tonic in here for you as well. Also, she was her absolute unique self. She never waxed an eyebrow, honey. She was just who she was, unabashedly so. And in doing so, became an inspiration for others to be their most unique selves as well, myself included. I absolutely adore her. Right? So there's an aspect of that for you as well to come in to say, along with the crow, use your words, communicate clearly and effectively. Be honest with yourself about where there's rooms for improvement and what you might be holding on to that wants to be let go of, expired, served you up until this point, but now has no place in the future. And you'll feel that out and know what those things are. Again, whether it's within yourself or in your given circumstances. There's an aspect here too of like the light of the world and like the guides and universe, like giving those signs and symbols and messages. Animal messengers, back to the crow as well. I'm really getting a special note with this, that a lot of your signs and symbols are going to be through animals, animal imagery, hearing about animals, your own animals, something to do with that. And I feel like I just saw 555 on the timer, number of change. I also feel like for some of you guys, bear energy. I'm telling you, look out for the bears, people. Also, Sorry, there's a siren about to come on by. For those of you who have a special animal totem or have a special affinity for a specific animal, or they already serve as a sign and symbol, ask for them to come through for you, right? And say, please, like, show me a butterfly, 3 butterflies in a day around this sign, or a source of inspiration or advice or guidance, right? You can call on the animal kingdom energetically and in actuality to aid you, right? Because they are messengers of the spirit world, absolutely, right? Really beautiful here, Libra. Connection, the biome. See how this kind of looks like the dilapidated, what is this? Of this, how it kind of looks like that. Do you see this circle here? Remember I saw that ice skater skating on the rink and then cutting through the ice and falling in somewhere else and then going to the bear as well. Really fascinating here. Connection. I feel like you're being asked to observe your connection to, not just with the high priestess with the crow here, but your points of connection in general. What are you connected to? Who are you connected to? And in doing so, what you might have become disconnected from, meaning your intuition or something else, right, are going to become more clear. Sometimes it's the absence of something is made more clear by focusing on what is present, right? Interesting. An example of this. What am I, meant to be focusing on at this time is a question, right? What's in my highest and best good to focus on? In alignment with my highest and best path and soul's purpose, right? And I go, well, I don't know. Let me think about what would not be on that list. Well, I'm not going to focus on this. I don't want to do this anymore. And sometimes just taking the time to kind of, mark that out and beat that out in your mind can also illuminate, well, not this, but what's the opposite of this? Or what's something that is on this not list that reminds me of something that is, is on the potential side of the yes list, right? So just being clear on your points of connection, how they relate to each other, and also in terms of the, circular cycle here of, why you're here in your relationship to your time on earth, your soul's purpose, right? I'm hearing a quote, and I have this book right next to me. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. Okay. So the book is Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah, an inspirational classic of profound and enduring wisdom by Richard Bach. I've read this many times. I'm feeling the need to read it again. I'm going to recommend it, I think, for my book recommendation for the month in the newsletter. And I saw this quote on the back, and now I'm hearing to give it to you. So, here is a test to find whether your mission on earth is finished. If you're alive, it isn't. And then we have the feather here, and you did get the crow, okay? One more time. Here's a test to find whether your mission on earth is finished. If you're alive, it isn't. That's for you, Libra, okay? I'm sending you so many love and blessings. I so hope that this helped and resonated. If so, would you do me a huge favor and let me know in the comments below? Please let me know how you're doing. What's going on? How are you faring? How are you feeling? We're coming off a really intense year, moving into a new season of the in-between and, a new cycle just around the corner here. Please let me know how you are. I want to hear. With that being said, just thank you again. Thank you so much for being here, and most of all and always, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.